Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel Grenzgänger Studios. I'm here with Dr. Jakob Nordangård. He's an author, a researcher, and also a musician. I'm really looking forward for this discussion because on our channel, we are talking a lot about politics and about the route in which humanity is moving forward. But in my opinion, there are not many people aware of the really critical period we are in. Jakob Nordangård has a PhD in science and technology studies, and he researched about climate issues and then became, what can I say, a really deep diver into the real agenda the world is moving towards. I think for the audience, it will be really eye-opening to hear a lot about the stuff you are into, and therefore I'm really happy to have you on my channel.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
In Germany, we have a big discussion about Elon Musk. Elon Musk is intervening in German politics. We have the parliamentary votes in a month, and Elon Musk is openly making advertisement for the AfD. It's a far-right party, and this creating a lot of discussions in Germany. What is your take on Elon Musk? I've read your latest book, The Temple of Solomon,
Yeah.
and there you also pointing towards Elon Musk, and you showed what kind of agenda he is in. The German think Elon Musk is only a billionaire who is trying to have influence, but I think there's more about Elon Musk. What is your take on Elon Musk agenda?
Yes, he's a very, very, really interesting character, and he more or less came from out of nowhere. He was part of the PayPal mafia once with Peter Thiel and other very influential Silicon Valley types. And the thing with Elon is that he seemed to be backed up by something. Because he now comes as a defender of freedom and all these things, but he is actually a proponent of, I would say, technocracy in the end, and backed up by the military-industrial complex. Because all his business is, who is it possible to run these companies without this funding from big government money, big defense contracts? And that's basically what it is. That's what has gained him the wealth he has today. And also he came up with he didn't came up with it. He just is a poster guy for the Tesla car, and the Tesla car was very, very. It came just in the right movement with the Paris Agreement on the climate, and all this talk about having alternatives to the old fossil fuel run car, and that. To be successful, you have to have a lot of people behind you to be able to make this car coming out on the market and also get a profit from it. Almost no car companies have any profits. I know about the old Swedish car Saab automobile that basically never had never had any profit on that car. So you have to have a backup by very other powerful people that wants Elon Musk to get this success. So my take on him is that he's a poster guy for the military industrial complex, and because all these programs and companies that he is involved with, they're actually building up this new technological system that will basically run everything on artificial intelligence.
You mentioned the coin technocracy and later on the new technological systems that will run via AI, the whole world. This is a kind of high claim because in Germany we have no discussion at all about this. Can you summarize maybe the dystopian future of this technocracy? What is technocracy and what is the future we are moving ahead? And then we can maybe look at some of the companies Elon Musk have, and maybe we are able to have a picture about this future. What is technocracy, and why it is so important to know about it?
Well, technocracy, it came. It was a movement in the 1930s that had this idea of a society run by experts and engineers, a perfectly run society that would be also based on every individual have a kind of quota for the energy that a person could consume, and so every month you would get a quota, and in this way, with the engineers, you could run this more or less perfect utopian society where everything is in balance. And so this is not a system that is run by any politicians. You don't have a democratic vote for anything. It's just it's the technicians' society. It's the technological society. And these ideas in the 30s didn't have that big success. They tried really hard in the 30s to convince, especially in the United States, also in Canada. In Canada, the technocracy movement was actually led by Elon Musk's grandfather. So we can see these connections. But later, technocracy, these ideas, they were developed at Columbia University. A university that's very, very connected to other powerful networks, and especially I followed the Rockefeller philanthropies and the Rockefeller group and so on. But we're very close to Columbia, and these ideas they eventually came to get a renaissance, you can say. With Zbigniew Brzezinski. He was a security advisor for Carter in the 70s, and he wrote a book in 1970, and it was based actually on a project that ran through some years before. And this book spoke about the technocratic society and a future society, because what he could see, it was democracy. It's not fit for the future, and this technological progress and this society that is coming. So another system is needed, and he became a part of an organization called the Trilateral Commission, founded in 1973 together with very influential banker David Rockefeller from the and these technocratic ideas were run through Trilateral Commission, and also you can find these ideas in what became Sustainable Development and the Agenda 21. It's a lot of talk about shaping this balanced society that takes care of all the resources of the world and manage them in a way that nothing gets unused and spoiled. It's an idea of almost a factory. That's and it's like industrial management. If you take industrial management for a factory, a car producer or whatever, and you take it and try to implement it on the whole society.
But what's so bad about it? I've talked about technocracy. I
Yeah.
said, okay, that's a kind of the regime of the experts, and they're trying to balance it out. And the world is facing problems, and therefore maybe we need global solutions. What's so bad about technocracy?
Yes,
It's not better for running experts the world than the mad politicians we have
yeah,
already.
you could argue about this, and of course, those who believe in technocracy, they would say that it's better that the real people do this, but it's a dangerous system because it becomes absolute. It's essentially totalitarian in the end. And you can't, you don't have a vote. You can't get rid of it. It's a system you have to live in, and you basically become a slave of it. And you need to serve this technological society to get your quota every month. And also the technocracy idea is that you can't save anything. You can't save your earnings, and therefore you can't. You just one of the cells in the world organism. You can't become something really. You're just a part of it. But the technocrats, of course, think this will you will have a society that is fair for everyone. But in the end, you have these experts that will run it, and those people, will they be treated the same as all the other people in the system? It's a kind of you can find parallels to the communist ideas, of course, but it's a different economic system than the communistic system. So, but it's but as I said, you can't you become a part of it. You can't opt out of it. You can't if you disagree with the system. Well, the system won't support you anymore.
What is needed to create the system? In the 30s, the technocracy movement started, but this claim was really huge to track all energy outsources from each individual on the planet. It was not possible.
No.
But now it seems that there is this technological advancement, and we have the resources to create such a system. Therefore, what is needed to implement this system, and what does it mean for each individual exactly? How will we live in the future if this plan will succeed?
We already have a lot of the features that is needed for a technocracy. We are connected to the internet constantly, and all the things that we are doing on the internet is tracked and can be monitored, and also we are building a security system. Our streets are now surveilled everywhere almost. And here in my hometown we have these CCTV cameras on the main streets surveilling, and all information goes into the police, and so we have a lot of these structures already. And also we have the system for the financial system. That is a very, very important part of this, with all the transactions followed and tracked and analyzed. You can do that today, and because and especially here in Sweden, where cash is almost completely eliminated. It's very, you can hardly buy a beer at the pub with cash anymore. You have to have a card. So that's a very, very crucial part of this, to be able to follow the flow of money all the time. So we already actually have a lot of his system. It's not like they will just one day dismantle the old system and bring in a new. It's more like it's coming in small steps all the time until we have this system. And then you don't need the politicians anymore. And that's one of the things with Elon Musk coming into the Trump administration, because that's what he's heading this kind of quasi department about efficiency and getting rid of all these bureaucrats and everything. And of course, that's could be needed. We have a lot of incompetent bureaucrats that it's ruin things. But this is more. But he, as Elon Musk has talked about a lot about artificial intelligence before, because that's one of the things that they didn't have in the 30s. They just had the idea, they had not the technology, but now we also have a artificial intelligence thing that can run these things efficiently if it's programmed, its algorithms is adjusted the way they want. So we have a lot of this in place already, and
Yes, Elon Musk is running the Department of Efficiency in USA in the Trump administration, and he said in a recent interview in the talk that AI will come. AI is we cannot stop AI to develop, and AI will run in the future how departments of society. But he's saying that he's the good guy, and it's better he is head of the AI than the evil one. Is it the role of Elon Musk to be the good cop in this good cop, bad cop? We had the bad cops. Maybe it's Klaus Schwab and this WEF. Who gains a lot of bad reputation during the Corona era, and then Elon Musk is arriving on the stage, fighting for free speech, but selling the same thing. It's the
he's a part of his meetings, and he has been at the World Government Summit in Dubai and so on. That's run by WEF, and I actually think he also was a young global leader at one time for WEF. So he's very, very connected to these people, and also you find Peter Thiel. That is a big part of the Trump administration as well, and he's actually Bilderberger, a part of the steering committee of a Bilderberger group, and so that's very telling. And they are old pals, you know. Peter Thiel was a kind of a mafia boss at that time.
Yes,
so of course this is a way of getting support from the people that has been disappointed with the left movement, and where they have been heading this time with all these crazy ideas that has coming from the left, and it's nothing about defending us from evil corporations anymore. It's just this trans agenda and so on that people even the left are kind of tired of now. So Musk can just it's very easy to just to convince people now, but he's the good guy. He says the right things, and want to get rid of all these bad stuff that's been going on. But he is. And also he has said other things like with the artificial intelligence, that in order to defend us from an evil artificial intelligence, we have to become part of the AI system itself.
Okay, this sounds really crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's really crazy, and it's when you look into it, and all these people, I mean, just look into the WF agenda and the fourth industrial revolution. I mean, when this was published in 2016, I was like, what are these people? They are saying this publicly now? What? It's just a bad sci-fi movie.
But this we have to elaborate
Yeah.
because the German audience, we have no clue what this is about, and Elon Musk plays a crucial role in it via his company Starlink, yeah? And via creating this satellites and this atmosphere in order which will be the digital infrastructure through which we will be connected to the internet. We're talking about the internet of bodies and maybe the hive mind. This is really crazy stuff. We have to explain it, and then we have to deliver evidence that this is really happening. But what is this about?
Well, the first thing, the Starlink, that is Elon Musk's project, and heavily funded by the American government, because this is to build this system, giving, of course, internet to everyone. But that's a part of, and it's, of course, it's a good thing. We have very, very good things come out of the internet.
Yes.
And we can connect with people all over the world. So technology is not a bad thing. But
Yes.
the bad thing is who controls the technology in the end, and what will it be used for? And we know also that these systems are used for defense purposes. Because we find the American military involved in it, and drones systems and so on that is used for this. And we have seen it we have these systems in Israel, Gaza, and Ukraine, and so on. So it's a very, very big thing now. I can talk about Sweden as well. With when we joined NATO, and we had to spend a lot of more money on our defense force because of this. And now the Trump administration comes in and said you have to even more money. You have to give 5% of the GDP. Yes. So it's a huge part of this, and so we can see that this structure is also built for the future warfare in the world.
Okay, and what is about the hive mind? Will we all be connected to the internet? And is the Starlink and Neuralink from Elon Musk the tools to do this? What is the term Internet of Bodies? And will we be get rid of our soul? Will we be only robots? What's this about?
Yes, I think it's the idea of a perfect society and the perfection of humanity as well. We have our limits, and we have things in our the humans do that's not really good, and in order to make it better, it would be better if we maybe got instructed by maybe an AI. And you can find these reports talking about this, people downloading information. And when we already have a lot of this system is working, but it's in a more old-fashioned way. With where do our ideas comes from, for example, and because we have had for a long time a media system giving us news, feeding us everything. We have, the entertainment industry. We have also indoctrination in schools, and that is shaping ourselves,
Yes.
who we are. And it's very, very hard to get out of that little
Yes.
box. And
Yes.
this new system will take it to a new level. And for example, United Nations, they talk a lot about the new digital system, but it's a big part of something that's called the Pact for the Future, what was decided last year. And I written a book about this called The Digital World Brain that follows how, because the United Nations thinks that they have to adjust to the new time with the digitization and a digitized world. And with when everyone is connected, they think they can steer things right with the help of behavioral science and nudging techniques, sludging techniques. And there's a lot of reports about this that's easy to download, and also can follow sessions where these behaviorists and psychiatrists talk about how can we manage these people, how can we get the people of the world to do the right choices for the planet, for example. So it's a very, very manipulative strategy that they are trying to want to enforce upon us. And all this is done with the latest technology, and with also making profiles of each individual, and trying to you can just and with AI you can get the right information for every individual. That's the utopian idea. I don't actually think that a system like this will work, because perfection, if we as humans can't be perfect, how can we create a system that is perfect? It will never. So it's just I don't think it's
It's
will
possible.
have success in.
Yes, but they are trying to, and they are striving for the new man. You've written in the Temple of Solomon, they're creating a new heaven and a new man, and this new man will be a transhumanist. He will emerge with AI, with machines. The man machine will be created, and this transhumanist will be the perfect man in this perfect world. And we the people abandon God, abandon the creator, will be the creator. And therefore it seems to be that this technocracy movement is interconnected with this transhumanist movement. And this transhumanist thing, Klaus Schwab and all the people, Elon Musk via Neuralink, they're openly talking about it. Is this new man something that will be created? What do you think really about it?
Well, in history, it has been a lot of experiments in trying to create a new man before. We had the Soviet man, for example, and we had also in Nazi Germany, of course, those ideas, and eugenics also in the other Western societies, with trying to perfect man with different techniques. They tried a lot with this racial hygiene, racial biology, and I see this as the route to the transhumanist movement. But now with more sophisticated technology at the disposal. But they have tried before, and I think they cannot succeed this time either. But I think it's also kind of a human thing to try to do this. We develop new technology all the time, and if you have a technology, you have to use it. Even if it's bad or
destructive. Huh?
yeah.
We had the atom bomb. We had to use it. This is a very disturbing future. We're moving ahead. Can we track it? Where do you think all of this started? Can you say, okay, this is the moment this movement begin to emerge in someone's brain? Is there maybe a philosophical root, or are there a few people coming together and thinking, okay, the Rockefellers, we're gonna change the world?
Yeah.
First of all, where do you think does this start? And secondly, why? Maybe this is another question, but where do you think this started, and what was necessary in a historical sense to implement or to come to this stage now?
Well, it's always very hard to say when things start.
Yes,
Uh,
of course.
I have in my book I have a starting point, but that starting point is built upon something before,
Yes.
because a mind don't just where does this idea come from? It comes from other people, and they just combine it maybe in a new manner,
Yes.
or they might have more resources to or actually do something about it. And in my book Temple of Solomon, I follow from the 1500s, and it's an English magician, occultist, scientist also, because the people at that time, they were called scientists, even though they also might be into kind of some kind of magical practices as well, because they try to investigate everything. It's not until the 1600s we can see that it's changing with and it gets more taboo to be involved in the more occult part of it. But I start with Dr. John Dee at the English court. He was a court magician for Elizabeth I,
Okay.
and he had this, and he was one of the most brilliant minds of his day. And he was actually the one that coined the phrase British Empire, and he also advised that to build a big fleet and to conquer the world and take the resources of the world and make Britain an empire. So that a lot of these ideas comes out of John Dee. He's pretty unknown today, but it's
Yes.
a very, very fascinating character. But he was also involved in he was a geographer and also into navigation and could give very good advice on how to travel and to the new we talked about the new Atlantis, and
Oh,
but
yes.
America was this, and they could claim it because of it was a part of Arthur's empire.
Yes.
And also these mythologies. So that was a part of that thinking. But he was also involved in at the latter part of his life. He wanted to know more about the world, because he thought, I've read everything about the world. Now I have to ask for real advice. And what do 1500 magician do? What kind of advice does he seek? It was advice from other worlds,
Oh,
the spirit world. He didn't have this contact himself, so he hired some scryers, and these are kind of mediators that can come in contact with the spirit world. And John Dee gave instructions, and this scryer came in contact with angels, as to say, and John Dee wrote down everything. So and all part of these conversations that they had, they are documented and are on I think Wellcome Trust, and also British Museum has collections of this, and it's very, very fascinating stuff.
Okay.
But it's also came with a vision, because what was presented for John Dee was a vision for the world, and a utopian vision to create a utopian world society. And that would be a part of the second coming of the Christ. So, and that's a recurring theme in a lot of what you find in because I mean, a technocracy and transhumanist movement, it's very materialistic. But when you go back in time and follow the ideas that this comes from, it's occult roots, and the idea of a utopian perfect society, and also because John Dee he thought that we don't live in a perfect society. So, but with the help of knowledge and science, we can perfect it. We can perfect what God left undone. So that's the idea behind it. And he inspired the Rosicrucian movement even in Germany.
Okay.
That was very important for scientific development.
Yes.
And I mean, a lot of good things came out of it. I have to. It's very important to point, not say that these are evil stuff. No, but a lot of good things came out of it. With a scientific revolution, enlightenment, and a lot of things that have meant that have lifted people from poverty. So. And the Rosicrucian movement, they also. I mean, it's a British historian, Francis Yates, that has written a couple of books about this. It's very fascinating about how this scientific revolution comes about, and all these people from this movement is a part of it. And this inspires then Francis Bacon. Francis Bacon is very, very important. Also very important in science history with empiricism and everything. Is you have to you get real knowledge about things. You have to test things scientifically and everything. So it's very important. But he also had this utopian idea of a world society run by experts and scientists, and that was written about in his book, The New Atlantis. And out of this came the Royal Society and the Invisible College. The Invisible College, I think, comes first. And then we have the Royal Society. And these ideas also is very connected to Freemasonry later. So, but it's an idea of making a great society, a better world. That's the ideals in it, and that ideal may not be bad, but it can be corrupted on the way, and you get power ambitions into this, and also maybe how can we construct this utopian society? And if you have this idea of utopia, you might also think that we have to we can't tell the ordinary people about this. and also the end justifies the means.
Yes.
We have to do some bad things, but in the end, it will be really, really good. It will be a utopia. So, yeah, but you have to crack some eggs to make an omelet, you know. So, and that's what we have witnessing with this. Good intentions can create very, very bad or even evil things in the end.
Yes.
And if you build a system, and I think we can see if we build a small system or a bigger system, you will always find a certain kind of people moving into this.
Yes.
People with power ambitions, and their power is the most important thing. And they might not, and their vision for a utopia is control.
Yes.
It's not freedom or liberty that these people in the old Rosicrucian movement might have thought. We will give freedom to people, but in the end, we have this. It's like the same people that were running the Catholic Church. they will get to and corrupted the ideas of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
So it's the same logic in the end. And if you build these systems, these people will migrate towards the top and corrupt the system.
Okay, you wrote a book about the Rockefellers. It's also published in German. The Rockefeller, das Spiel kontrollieren. And this Rockefeller dynasty plays a significant role in creating this new world order, this technocratic society. What the German audience is really not aware of is that the Rockefeller dynasty, which came from, is this an oil dynasty? Yeah? Standard Oil made a lot of, it's a huge money, a lot of money from oil business. And they laid a foundation of the so-called climate agenda. And this is something, when I first heard about it, I was really shocked about. Because when you understand this shift, then you can imagine that the clue for creating this new society will be I will call it the climate scam. But the people must be aware of that the Rockefeller are this is the family which used climate agenda, or which made this shift. You had a doctor thesis, and I heard that you was part of the environmental movement, and you were online with this, and in your research you found out that this is not really what it's about. Maybe you can give the German audience a brief introduction in this. Really, it's a kind of crazy theory that the oil tycoons built this climate agenda. What's this all about, and what's the role of the Rockefeller family?
Yes, I mean, this was a shock for me as well. But I found out about this when I was writing my doctoral thesis, and I was doing background study of how the climate issue evolved. And as I was doing this, I went into a colleague and asked him, "Do you know anything about the history of this?" And I was at the Climate Policy Center in Norrköping at the time, so it's a very, very center talking about climate and politics and everything. And he said, "I don't know. I just know the story about how the IPCC was created, and I have some articles about it." And he gave me one of them. And upon reading this, it was mentioned in this article that some of the most important meetings in the 80s that led up to the creation of the IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, was funded by Rockefeller Brothers Fund and Rockefeller Foundation. And I just wanted to know why. Because I had studied energy before and a lot about the oil markets and the history of oil, and knew about, of course, the Standard Oil corporations and the Exxon Mobil and everything, and the connections to the influential Rockefeller family at the time. So it was just, why do these people fund climate as well? And that led me into a rabbit hole, you can say.
Oh, yes.
I was supposed to write 5 pages, and it ended up with 50 pages. And it took me back to the 50s, or even earlier. But I found out that the Rockefellers, or the Rockefeller philanthropists, had been involved since the 50s. It was not like they came in a late stage to try to infiltrate the narrative. No, they had actually been very, very influential in making climate change a big scientific issue. And it started in the 50s, and they were involved with making a thing for the United Nations agenda at the Stockholm conference in 1972. I could follow this step by step, but and found that they have been involved all the time, and very, very into. It's not like they were an outside actor. They were very much those who made this a priority. They were involved in the institutions that fostered the big scientists of the day. They were funding them, and they also were those who anchored this politically, because they had connections with the White House and so on. So it's a very, very, I would say, when I was finished with this, this was a process. I started to write this in 2009 with 50 pages. It became a part of my PhD thesis in 2012. And then I wrote the book, Rockefeller, Das Spiel kontrollieren. And it was out in German last year, but it was released in Swedish in 2019. Because at that time I wanted to cover everything. I wanted to really, really know, why do an oil family spend their oil money on trying to convince people to stop using oil. I had to write this story. It's just so crazy, and that's when I found out that they had a vision for the world, and this is the utopian vision. But I could trace back long back in history. But they were a family that actually had the power and money to do something about it. And especially in the 50s and 60s. Now a lot of other actors have been taking over and been involved in this big game, I would say. But especially until the founding of the IPCC, it's very, very, very much a part of the Rockefeller business to make this happen. And of course, it's came from a real shocker for me, because that's the family that actually Exxon Mobil is their company, and Exxon Mobil is the company that's is considered to be the evil guys in the world, and financing scientists critical of the climate change agenda.
This is a shocker. And
yeah.
Why did Rockefeller do this first? And is there a link between the climate agenda and eugenics? This is and this because the climate agenda, Club of Rome, all this emerged from this Malthusian problem of overpopulation. And therefore, there might be a connection between the issue of overpopulation, and then we create this climate hysteria, and then we will say, okay, the real enemy of the world is man himself, and there's a kind of a war against humanity, and in the end game, maybe we have to get rid of 1/4 of population, and you also had a a chapter about the Georgia Guidestones, where they are talking about keeping nature in balance with humanity, and there should only be 500 million people on Earth. Also, are the Rockefeller in reality eugenicists, and are they trying? It sounds crazy. Are they trying to kill the many people on planet Earth? What's this all about?
Well, we started out very much in the eugenics movement. They are the Rockefeller Foundation. They actually, for example, they funded the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute in Berlin before the war. And I think the funding ended just before Germany attacked Poland. So it's they were very, very involved in this research, and it more or less came from them. It wasn't Germany that invented it, and we also have Sweden. That's very, very important for the eugenics movement. And one of the Rockefeller brothers is John D. Rockefeller III. He was the one that would be inherit the empire at one time, but but they shared it between the brothers in the end. But he was very much into population issues, and he founded an organization called the Population Council. And during the conference he had about this, he invited a lot of eugenicists to his meeting. The elites of the day in America, but he also invited an oceanographer called Roger Revelle.
Okay.
Yeah, this was in 1952, I think, and this oceanographer Revelle, he was the one that made global warming the big scientific issue in the 50s. So it's very, very connected, all these things. And also in the 50s, the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, led by the later vice president, it was his idea, the later vice president Nelson Rockefeller. They hired Henry Kissinger to manage this, be the director of this study, and they took these ideas. They were heavily into eugenics and population, and how to control population, of course. And they came up with, they said in this report also that they had it was their mission. History has imposed on us a mission to create a new world order. I think you can read it in this report, on all levels. Political, economic, and cultural, and so on. And the idea was to create this the new world society, and no nations anymore. So that's the idea. And climate change was, we actually discussed this in a chapter with how can, what are the means to do this? We can, science is a very good tool, because science, with science, we have this scientific cooperation between countries now. And if we have these global problems, that can be useful. And they said that with the climate, it could evolve in the future to be such a global problem that the nations of the world will be forced to cooperate with each other. And that's where a lot of these things start. This was in 1958. And after that, they pushed for making climate change the topic for the scientific community. And we also had, at the Rockefeller Brothers Fund and the Rockefeller Foundation, at this, on the board of directors, they had the head of National Academy of Sciences in United States. And of course, I mean, he's the one that really has connections with scientific community. And United States after the Second World War, the leading nations, Europe in ruins. All the good scientists have been taking over to United States, and they sat in a very, very good position to steer things.
Yes.
And all these things are documented, and it's very, very easy to track this down. It's just that ordinary people don't know, and I didn't know anything about it as a member of the Green Party at one time. It was I couldn't have. It's you can't make this up in a novel.
Yes.
It's
just too
too
crazy
much.
to
Yeah.
because it seems to be the perfect tool. This global crisis, and every individual on the earth is responsible to change his way of life. And the main factor is energy, and we have to control every energy, and therefore this is the best problem to
Yes.
create a reaction for the solution they have in mind all the time. You have talked about the problem, reaction, solution, and this is on a global scale to create this new utopia.
Yes, you have triggering events. I actually have it in my PhD. I mean, you can find it in also in social science used these terms, and so and I also have to comment. Of course, you asked about population. Do they want to bring the population down?
Yes.
They want to eventually bring it down. The thing is, in the 50s, when they started to talk about population, I think we had like 3 billion people in the world. So it was no not that a big population at that time. But it was very, very useful to use this scare, and we did this in the 50s and 60s, and before the Stockholm Conference in 1972, and talked a lot about population, and they also, of course, they want to control reproduction, and that has been a scientific goal and that's the eugenics idea. One, and we have different kind of methods. Of course, they want women to better to get them in education and work and indoctrinate them, and it takes a long time for a woman today to have a position in life that she feels that now I can have a child, and maybe at that time it's too late. And if they are rich, they can get help, and that's an old eugenic idea. We have a society decide who will have a child or not, and but I think this is also a very slow process, because we can see now that we will reach a peak in population, and then it will lower kind of quick.
1 second, sorry, I have issue with this heating. Sometimes there's a kind of noise.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We were about eugenics, and we have and you read about it, that transhumanism is kind of a new update of eugenics. We are creating the perfect man, and the good genes, this eugenics, the good genes should procreate, and the bad genes should be eliminated from society.
Yes, we have it's like a marketing trick. You can't use eugenics, so you use transhumanism instead.
Yes.
But this time also with technology being integrated with technology, and chip technology, for example, and we have more extreme with the ideas of the Neuralink and so on. I mean, and then some of these things are, of course, done for the good purpose, and making people that has disabilities to work normally in the society and so on. But as Elon Musk has said, that's not what it's really for. In the end, if you go into the ideas and the forefront of the technologies, it's more about the fusing together humanity for real in this system.
Okay, I have a last chapter, and it's about the title of your book, Temple of Solomon, because in my research I had kind of two lines. The first line in history was this striving for this new world order, and you have transhumanism, technocracy, and this total controlled society. And the second line, it was emerging from Zionist movement from Israel, and from the striving for the Moshiach Ben David to come, and for creating the third temple. But these two ideas I couldn't emerge, because this is some religious concept, and the other one is a kind of worldly materialistic concept. And now I've seen you have written books about this political sphere, and now you have written a book about Temple of Solomon, and this seems to be a kind of emerging these two concepts. Why do you have this title, Temple of Solomon, and what's the role of Jerusalem and this temple in creating this new world order? This is for me really mind-boggling.
The thing that I use the title, it actually comes from when I was investigating the background to the environmental think tank, the Club of Rome, and it was for my PhD thesis, and I found a system theorist called Erwin Laszlo that had been involved in a couple of reports for the Club of Rome, Goals for Mankind, and also involved a lot of with the United Nations, and had these ideas of a global society, a planetary society, a global culture, and all these things. But he had himself been in close contact with a professor, kind of mentoring him, called Oliver Reiser. And Oliver Reiser was a very, very interesting character. And I bought a book by him, released in 1975, 1 year after his death, where he wrote about a utopian world society. And he said that we want to construct the Temple of Solomon. That's the idea. And it was a lot of esoteric thinking in this, a lot of theosophical ideas and Masonic ideas about this brotherhood of man. And but he called it the Temple of Solomon. But it was a very materialistic idea as well, because it was he said, this is a temple in the sky. It's not really about the construction of a temple in Jerusalem. It's a satellite temple.
Elon Musk is building it. Satellite temple.
Yeah, exactly. So when you compare the ideas of what Reiser said, the project Prometheus and Krishna, it's very much like the Elon Musk concept. It's like it comes out of there. And Reiser was connected to a lot of important people in the world, totally unknown for everyone else, but he actually had some, like Julian Huxley, for example, was a very important player. He was the head of first Secretary General of UNESCO, and he was also co-founder of WWF and International Union of Conservation of Nature, and you could see that all these concepts coming together, and we've basically transhumanist ideas of the evolving human, because one of the big ideas in this is you evolve into a perfect society and you evolve a new human. That's the idea is in this book, and also the idea of a temple you create, and if you go back to the meaning of a temple, I mean, we are the temple, you are a temple, and we have to take care of the temple that we are, and try to make us better humans. And I have nothing against these ideas. We strive to be better, so that's not a bad thing. But the ideas here is to how can we achieve it through science and technology, and we can create this balanced, perfect system, the Temple of Solomon. But he also talked about, and it's like the idea of a temple is also part of the rebuilding of a temple. Because one of Oliver Reiser was he wrote this book for an institute called World Institute, but had an office in Jerusalem and in New York, very close to the United Nations. And this institute was headed by a guy called Julius Stulman. And he was a big supporter of the Shabbat movement. So you can find connections between these people. Oliver Reiser, a theosophist, and also these Masonic ideas, and Julius Stulman with this Shabbat idea. So it's connected in a strange way. And the Shabbat, is very, very interesting in the rebuilding of the real temple. And we can see it now. It comes together with red heifers, for example, these things happening. So it's like when we have, and that's speculation from my side, when we have the satellite temple, they want to manifest this with the real temple, the physical temple. But it's more a symbol than it is the real deal, because the real deal is the technological society where we all are connected to one, and also governed by this artificial intelligence technologies that will make this society the perfect world.
And the headquarter of this AI controlled super brain will be Jerusalem?
It could be. I don't know this, but it would be maybe the perfect choice. Of course, the symbolism and everything, and we have had. I have followed in my book with the Roundtable Group from Britain, and Cecil Rhodes and Rothschilds. And Balfour, all these people that were very important in the setup of what became Israel. So we have these ideas coming together now at this time. So it's a very, very interesting time to follow and be in. And with the new U.S. administration, we have these things as well, because Donald Trump is very, very he's Israel's best friend, and so on.
Yes,
and they also have a coin. I have a coin with him as the rebuilder of the temple.
In my view, it now makes perfectly sense. These two concepts, this religious one from Zionism and striving for the Messiah to come, and on the other hand, the real controls world society via the satellite temple builds up. And you have this Donald Trump and Elon Musk. Elon Musk is the builder of the Temple of the Sky, satellite temple, and Donald Trump is the builder is building the other temple.
Yeah, man, he actually work. I mean, he has a construction company. I mean, the Trump Tower, everything. So he's into that kind of business. Actually,
this is crazy. This is crazy because you said
crazy.
it.
Yeah.
He is his construction companies and he's building. Oh, this is mind-boggling.
Yeah, it is.
I hope the German audience will can comprehend it. And maybe we will have another interview one time. I will again tell the audience that there is a book out in German also, Rockefeller, das Spiel kontrollieren, from Jakob Nordangård, and there are 5 more books about these topics. It was a pleasure.
Actually,
thank
6
you.
books now. This is the 7th book.
Okay, this is the 7th book.
Yeah,
It's also a mythological number 7.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure to have you on our channel. Really interesting time, and you have the ability to show the bigger picture. No? You have these religious concepts and also the worldly concepts, and these 2 temples that are building up now. This is really crucial for humanity to understand, and hope the German audience will do it.
Yes, and I think people will find out eventually, even if they don't want to. So this is things that are
because I've heard you said the truth will always find its way.
Find a way. Yeah.
Find a way. Yeah. Hope so through this discussion. Jakob Nordangård, thank you a lot. It was a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.